Hi! Yeah! Music's still playing. Goddamn, settle down, Scoop.
It's really excited.
Yeah. Welcome into the first Scoop with new branding. Pretty much the exact same show. We've just neatened up a few bits, made it a little bit more in line with the quality of our graphics for 2024. Basically, we've been living in 2024 for about 8 months with some of our graphics, but the Scoop's still living in 2020, so we thought we'd just give it a little bit of a facelift. So, exact same show, just a very, very few significant differences. Like, I'm on one side of the screen and Bibby's on the other compared to where we were previously, but that's about it. You can expect all the same dubs that you get daily live here on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads at 10 a.m. ish. Now, if you don't know what this is, who we are, my name is Graham. This is Bib. See that? I'm pointing over there. He's not there. No, he's always not there. He's always there. Fuck. Okay. Anyway, my name's Graham. This is Bib. We are Ice Cream Uploads, and in true Ice Creamy fashion, this is The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast, or at least that's what we say about ourselves, you know.
Yeah,
it's kind of
confirmed.
That bit's
We're back
the same.
ourselves.
That bit's the same. Other things have changed, but we will, yeah. Anyway, we're here to give you our thoughts and our impressions on the biggest, the best, and breaking stories from the world of video games. So please do feel free to strap yourselves in for the next half an hour or so while we go through those stories. But it's not just the stories. We'll also give you our thoughts and our impressions. But we want to hear your thoughts and your impressions, and then your thoughts and your impressions and our thoughts and our impressions. That's kind of how the whole thing works. So if you are in the stream, please do feel free to get involved. We are live on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads, where we go live occasionally at 10 a.m.
Big-ish today.
Yeah, but if you are in the stream, please do feel free to get involved, because a lot of people still watch this podcast on demand. A live stream on Twitch, obviously, but then we turn the live stream into a video on YouTube and an audio podcast on iTunes and Spotify and Amazon Music and Google Play. That is a lot of places where over 200,000 people have watched and listened to this podcast. So please do feel free to get involved. Before we go any further, a little bit of housekeeping. The loot drop, if you don't know what that is a way that we give back to subscribers to our channel. And we've got quite a few over the last month or so. My birthday, Bibby's birthday, Christmas. You guys have thrown down quite a bit. And that phrase, throwing down, is quite significant because we drew the loot drop in the Discord today. So we exported the list last week, but because I think maybe we got one-ish, two-ish scoops out last week. We didn't actually draw the loot drop, so we exported the names, but we've drawn it today within the Discord. And it was, if you're watching, GT Wiz shot ya, which is actually G Twiz shot ya, who got gifted a sub last month by P Honey. So yes, G-Twiz, if you're watching this, get in the Discord, claim your prize. If you aren't watching this, then you're probably not going to hear it, and you're not in the Discord, so you won't claim your prize, and then in 2 days' time, we'll draw it again for someone else to bag a game of their choice. So if you are a sub to the channel, and you were a sub to the channel last Monday, you have a very significant chance of being in a redraw, unless G-Twiz jumps back in the stream and claims their prize. So nice. Also, shout out to our sponsors, GT Omega, Insert Coin, and Logitech. We are still using the Astro A50Xs. We have been instructed to hold on any review content for now, so we will bring you the review content soon. But badass. Tell you what's not badass, though. Did see yesterday, did you see that GT Omega had their van stolen from the NEC?
Yes, I did. I reposted it in hopes that they would end up finding it somewhere. Have we had an update since?
I haven't looked, but I will. If anyone has seen an update, please do feel free to let us know. But GT Omega provide things like these badass chairs that we sat on. And they went to, I think it was the Autosport show or the Motorsport show or something at the NEC, as you do. You know, go show off your stylish chairs to the world. Well, someone decided to steal their van full of chairs, so the chairs are gone, the van is gone, and everything's gone to shit. So, sad times for GT Omega. Hopefully they get it all sorted. But yes, if you can, please do feel free to use GT Omega for everything, especially, you know, they've had a van full of stuff stolen. They need all the support you can get right now. So if you are looking for a chair, make sure you check out GT Omega. If you know anyone else that is looking, make sure you check out GT Omega. And also, do feel free to use code ICU at GT Omega to code Ice Cream at Logitech and all the rest. We do have the affiliate codes and discounts in the Discord for anyone that knows. Did we have an update?
There is no update since yesterday. That was the last tweet that they put out.
Cool. Well,
so it's not looking promising, shall we say.
Fuckers. Honestly, people just out there trying to earn a living, going to events and shit, which will have cost them a fortune, and then had a van full of stock. And the van stolen. Assholes, man.
Yeah. The problem is with this as well is because it's not a branded van. It doesn't say like GT Omega anyway, so it's not as if it's blatantly obvious if it's out there in the wild that someone's going to know that it's theirs. It's literally just like a quick check on the registration plate if you can remember what it is when you see one driving past you.
Yeah.
So it is a difficult situation to be in as well in terms of trying to keep an eye out for it. But I hope that they end up finding it or getting it recovered somewhere. We have no idea what that's going to be used for, though, whether or not it's already on a boat somewhere on the way to France. I don't know. But you don't know,
just
do you?
burnt out in a field somewhere once they've taken all the stuff and flogged it all.
Yeah, you just have no idea. Shitheads.
There are shitheads in this world. Speaking of shitheads, hi, I'm Graham. This is Bib.
Hello.
Jump over to the snazzy new split screen. Hey, see, told you I was on the wrong spot. I'm over here. Bibby's over there. I'm over here. Nice. I'm pointing over there because he was usually there. He is there. There we go. But yeah. It's all wrong.
I'm here.
I've been on the wrong side for like 3 years now, so my brain's going to take a good chunk of time to get this. Because quite often, Bibby's on this screen to my side here. When I'm looking at him, he's there. So I'm used to pointing at Bibby, but because I'm where he is, I'm pointing this way. And I'm usually pointing at him, whereas now I've got to point over here, where his face is actually here. Fucking what? So I'll get used to it. Anyway. Let's talk about some video game news. That's the whole reason of the scoop. We are here to talk about video game news. If you do want to talk to us about general things, that's cool, because we've got a bunch of content coming up for you the rest of the week, including a bunch of other scoops-ish. Also, some gameplay content from myself and Bib, including PUBG and Pokémon with guns. More on that later. But first, we'll kick things off with today's episode of the scoop, where we talk about video game news, particularly one that has caught Bibby's eye recently. You enjoying Starfield, Bib?
Most certainly am, mate. Yeah, it's my main game at this moment in time and what I'm trying to plow through.
Well, good news. Starfield's next update promises over 100 fixes and improvements, and a PC beta arrives next week. This was published on the 12th of January by Matt Wales at Eurogamer, so that next week is this week, but we'll go into it anyway. So with Bethesda looking to ramp up the frequency of its Starfield updates in 2024, it recently committed to a roughly every 6-week schedule starting in February. The studio is kicking off the new year by putting its latest patch into Steam beta next Wednesday, the 17th of January, so 2 days' time, with the promise of, quote, over 100 fixes and improvements. That's fixers, not MC Fixer, completely different fixer. Nice, just wanted to clarify. 100 fixes in Starfield. Imagine that. Whoa. Anyway, Bethesda says it'll share the full update notes even when the Steam beta goes live on Wednesday. But ahead of launch, it's teased a number of included improvements in a series of posts on social media. Next week's update will, for instance, introduce improved textures, lighting, and shadows. The accompanying screenshots point to far more natural illumination on characters' faces, for instance, as well as additional widescreen support and stability improvements. Bethesda is also promising a multitude of fixes to quests, remedying the likes of docking and data transfer problems in Eye of the Storm, as well as preventing exploration blockers caused by missing temples in Into the Unknown. Players can also expect improvements to sun disk geometry and planet ring shadows. Fixes, I'm going to stop there for a second because we're now getting into the weeds of the details and stuff. People like me who haven't played it yet still has it, but is still trying to finish off Hogwarts Legacy from, April, whatever. This is kind of like getting into the weeds. It kind of skips past the point. So we'll skip past that bit and jump into the next paragraph. It says, Bethesda says it's planning to release the update to all players around 2 weeks after it hits Steam beta, meaning this will likely be the patch that officially kicks off its previously announced 6 weeks launch schedule. And as to what the rest of 2024 will bring to Starfield, Bethesda has already teased new ways of traveling and official mod support via Bethesda's Creators Club and more. The good news is Bethesda's previous update to Starfield, a game that didn't entirely captivate Eurogamer's Chris Tapsell at launch, are slowly starting to bring the kind of technical improvements that, as Digital Foundry recently commented, should have been in the game at release. He is hoping for an equally fruitful year of updates in 2024. So yeah, quite a lot. Starfield has 100 plus fixes and improvements coming to the game, arriving in a PC beta this week, and then the full launch 2 weeks' time.
Mm-hmm.
As someone that's playing the game,
yes,
pretty much every day, like whenever I'm in the office, lunchtime hits, baby fires up the Xbox and does a little bit more stargazing in Starfield. You're enjoying it already? Are you excited for all of the things to come?
Yeah, there is things in there that are annoying me. So me and Levi, obviously, Levi's probably like 70 hours into it, which is like 40 hours more than where I currently am. He's giving me advice in terms of the quest lines to do, not telling me what's going to happen, but the best quest lines to do that are away from the main campaign. So you get a good idea of the different types of missions that you're going to be taking on. So I'm still not going to talk about the missions that I've done so far, but there is a UC quest line that begins on an alternative planet, obviously, because there's like millions of them. Millions is a bit of a stretch, but you get what I mean. UC? The UC, yeah.
What's the UC?
Universal credit.
Ah, okay. There you
go. No, it's not. But yeah, it's yeah. But yeah, it's a group. It's a group of you said stargazers before, and that's the only thing that's in my mind now.
Star trekking across the universe.
It's just a group of people that are trying to save the galaxy, shall we say?
So it's like a faction within the game, kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm currently I've moved away from the main quest line.
I was like,
doing the UC one now.
What does what is this?
I can't actually remember. United Colonies. There we go.
Off the top of my
That's
head.
it. Yeah. But as soon as I said Universal Credit, I couldn't get that out of my head either. So I just inputted that into my own brain. But yeah, I'm doing that quest line at the moment. So I am thoroughly enjoying the game. But there is certain things in the game, and it's not just necessarily graphic that's been doing my head in. So there's things like when you've killed someone, you go over to them, you press A, and it brings up what they have on their person. But there's things like I say cosmetic things. It's things that will like improve your health and things like that. So you'll bring up you hover over them. It'll give list of guns and then like maybe helmets, suits, whatever else it is that will have a metric next to it, whether or not it's better or worse than what you currently have. But you have to press square to then go into an alternative menu to then be able to press select and then have a completely different companion screen come up to say, this is what you currently have equipped, this is what's better. And I just think for the speed, if you was to hover over the body, it should automatically come up in that grid to say UC space armor, and then it should have like the up or down red or green triangles next to it to say if it's better or worse than what you currently have in certain fields, rather than having to do 3 or 4 clicks from that point to then find out if it's actually worth picking up. It just takes a little bit more time than it absolutely should do, and that's just quality of life stuff. It's stuff that I'm surprised went through QC checking to begin with. I mean, because I do it so often now, it is relatively fast, but it definitely could be so much quicker by just going to the person, press A, and then it'll bring up the list of what they have, and right next to it, what you already have equipped as default, and it'll just have the red or green triangles next to it. That's all we need. Just have a look at the damage, have a look if your suit is actually have a little bit more oxygen or whatever else that it is that your suit has that you can compare to straight off the bat. It's just small little quality of life things that I hope is part of this fix, and then we might see 2 weeks later, because what I don't want to do is get to a point where I'm using the in-game mods that then stops trophy support, which is one of the main reasons why, like on PC, I'm not really asked about my Steam achievements or anything like that, or playing it on Xbox Game Pass on PC to have all the mods in there, because I'm not really that asked about the trophy support on that. But as soon as you start putting third-party mods on there, which there is hundreds of them for Starfield now. It stops that because it thinks that you might end up manipulating the system to work in your essentially cheating. So it stops all of that stuff. But what I don't want it to get into a position where obviously that is the case, and I'm only having to use ones that people have made. But yeah, in terms of what a Starfield is at this moment in time, I can see why people didn't have it absolutely in their game of the year contention. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I'm not disregarding Skyrim out of the conversation. Starfield out of
all right, settle down.
You see how easy it is to slip into that, Graham. It's because I'm about to go on to onto what Skyrim does. But what Starfield is at this moment in time is not where Skyrim is now, and I think that's what people's gripes are with it. But it's taken us over 10 years to get where Skyrim is now, and that's the comparison what I was getting to. Starfield and Bethesda games as a norm don't particularly have the best starts. The first 2 years of a Bethesda game are usually teething into what the game is going to be later down the line. So they release the game, it ends up kind of being a vanilla version of what the end goal is for what Starfield, Skyrim, Fallout, all of these other franchises that have such a good reputation don't tend to always come out swinging. They don't tend to always have the kind of game that 5 years down the line we end up having. So the first 2 or 3 years, I was never going to hold out playing this for that long. It's not the same situation that we had with Cyberpunk, because that was a garbage truck on fire. However, this is more than playable. Some of the quests are a pain in the ass because they didn't work but have started to get patched to be able to work. The first UC one, for instance, where you end up fighting one of the Terramorphs, I'm not going to go too much into it, but that particular mission glitches and you can't progress with it unless you do something a certain way. Or if you're playing it on PC, you're able to restart the quest. Console, you can't, so you kind of just have to abandon it. But yeah, it's one of these things that is getting patched, and I'm surprised that we're having over 100 fixes so fast. But this game will look completely different in 2 years' time. This might
100%.
not necessarily have the graphics that you'd expect from a PlayStation 5 game in 2024. Some of the places look really pretty, but some of the character models, you're like, Jesus, yeah, this is definitely not what you'd expect from a 2023/2024 game. But again, this is just going to come with time.
It definitely doesn't have the graphics that I'd expect for a PS5 game anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, because it's an Xbox game. Yeah. But from what I've played so far, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. It is my main game at this moment in time. Every single time that I've got half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, it's the first thing that I want to be able to play. It's the only game that is in my consciousness that I want to get involved in whenever I have the opportunity. And that is a fantastic thing, obviously, for Bethesda, because I've got someone who wants to keep on coming back to the game, because it's a game that I'm thoroughly enjoying and works for the most part. I'm enjoying where I'm going.
I definitely feel there was an article I read the other day on, I think it was gamesindustry.biz, and it was that Cyberpunk is proof of a mixture of a labor of love, like an intent to improve on something that you've not done properly, but also a significant stroke of luck, because Cyberpunk is a great game now.
Yeah. I can confirm that.
There's not really anything else you can say about it. Yes, it had a shitty launch, but that is a different game now from what is there. You can dislike it, just like you can any other game, but it works well, very well, with some great content, supreme editions. The world's like immersive and everything now. But they got there because the article said there was a big chunk of luck. I don't necessarily think it's luck. I think there is a bit of luck. They're lucky that people didn't turn on them, but that luck didn't just come out of nowhere. That luck came out of the fact that they've bought people's trust with years upon years upon years of CD Projekt Red games, the Witcher series specifically, and TV content that has kept people believing in Cyberpunk before they actually got to the point where the game was great.
Yeah.
And Starfield, I feel that applies to it a bit. In terms of Starfield has a lot of trust and legacy from obviously all of Bethesda's back catalogue, not just Skyrim's and co, but Fallout's and so on. Obviously, Fallout's more recent history has been a bit more patchier, but Also, Starfield doesn't have to come from as far back. Like, literally, the back of the pack was Cyberpunk. There has never been a launch of a game, especially one that's so significant, that has been as drastic as that. There has been 1 out of 10 games, Ride to Hell, Richard Bruce, and every let's go, baby, like that sort of stuff that is shit. But don't get me wrong, but nobody ever expected it to be phenomenal, whereas people expected big things from Cyberpunk, and it wouldn't even play. The first part is to actually claw money back for their customers. It's never been done before or since. Not to that extent. Dog's being a dick at my end, sorry. But they've turned it round, and Starfield doesn't have to come from that far back. It works well for phenomenal amounts of people. Tito said for him it was a little bit hollow at times, which is understandable. There's been those sort of comments previously. But I believe Bethesda is in this for the long haul. So it's a bit annoying that like I mentioned Hogwarts Legacy. If I come across a new outfit and I can see it'll give me +5 defense but -5 attack or whatever, I get the little green and red arrows for up and down that Bibby was talking about in the UI within the game. Having to mod that stuff in, you sit there and you think, why am I doing this? Why are you not doing this? But it's one of those things that's so simplistic that it's easy to miss for someone that has made this game a million times before, but with medieval knights and futuristic whatever. It's just minor details that someone's probably sat there going, oh, fuck, I can't believe I didn't just add that in while I was there. That'd have been super simple. Okay, we'll fix that, and we'll just tick that off in one of the 100 fixes and improvements. Because they were probably thinking, this is the biggest, most advanced game that we've ever made. I'm more worried about the fact that if I get a 1 in the wrong place in this code, the whole galaxy will just disappear. I'm not bothered about whether you get a little thing like that. So it's not perfect. Don't get me wrong, it's not perfect in terms of it should work out the box. It should do. But games did work out of the box, but stopped at the end of the box back in the day. Whereas when you're building something with infinite potential, it's quite difficult to make sure that everything within the box works perfectly, because you're working with an endless amount of things that can come beyond it. So the fact that the game did have bugs and is glitchy and so on, most of my games of the years over the last few years, including Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Hogwarts Legacy right now, yesterday I was encountering glitches in Hogwarts Legacy, which has been out for months longer than Starfield, probably twice as long. And was the biggest selling game of the last year, and was significantly higher up in Game of the Year conversations. Also overlooked, pretty much like Starfield was. But that also was and is buggy. So I don't mind it. I mean, I wanted to play Starfield. Just obviously time commitments and so on. And I feel like I'm benefiting from not playing it yet, because it just sounds like it's going to be getting better and better and better. The bits that people have had to mod in will probably be in there by the time I get there. So all of the mods that'll be there when I'm there are kind of things that, do you know what, do you want to take it further? Not do you just want to play the best experience there is? So by the time I get it loaded up, I think Bethesda will have fixed out loads of stuff. I mean, there is more content coming. For anyone that got the Ultimate Editions or whatever they were called of the game, you will get the next patch of DLC. So they aren't just working on, let's make this game good so people can go, oh, I'll finally play it. It's like, let's make this game good so that more people can enjoy more content. And that's just, so they've only got one DLC pack announced. You can guarantee, though, that the game that led to the single highest increase of Game Pass in a 24-hour period, that was Starfield's launch day, will definitely have multiple bits of content coming. So 100 fixes and improvements, and then content coming, what was it, every 6 weeks, did they say? Or was something like that? Yeah,
something like that, yeah. They're trying to implement something like that, yeah. Yeah,
it committed to a roughly every 6 weeks schedule. Or if they're throwing out 100 bits every 6 weeks, 100 bits to start, and then 30, 40, 50 every 6 weeks, that'll start to tick off a lot of the little issues consistently over time. And that quality of life, the fact that you know that something might not be fixed now, but it will be on the agenda, and you've only got a month and a half until it's coming, and then if it's not there in a month and a half, you might probably get an update on it or some acknowledgement as to when it will actually come. Big fan. And this is the stuff that started off, your Skyrims and your Fallouts and stuff. It's that commitment to being there for the long haul, even though I've done everything. Yeah, you have right now, but people still want to enjoy those environments for a long time to come. So even though Bibby might not enjoy it for as long as he did Skyrim, other people will, and it's this commitment to it that yeah, big fan. Quick resume makes that a dream.
Yeah.
Do you know what?
I mean, the streaming stuff as well is just as good. Like, I've been using the cloud streaming stuff in the office, and it's been flawless. Like, you might get some of the glitching where the screen tearing, but in terms of the controller input, second to none. Like, there has been no controller latency whatsoever, and it's been great.
Big fan. Whereas I can play on my PlayStation, which is here, just at the other side of that wall there, and lag. Nope. So fun times. My internet's wonderful. Love it. It's great. Love it. Quick resume makes that a drink. Yeah, so quick resume kind of exists on the PlayStation. Basically, you can put your PlayStation to sleep, and whatever you was last playing can, air quotes, continue the next time you open it back up again. I'm pretty sure quick resume on Xbox, you can do that with multiple games, right? You can have multiple games in a sleep state and then come back to them. You can only do it with the last one that you were playing on PlayStation, unless that's PUBG.
I think it's 3.
Yeah,
it's 3 games that you can do on the Xbox.
On the PlayStation, I'll go downstairs and load up my PlayStation, and I'll be exactly where I stopped on Hogwarts. On this PlayStation, I'll load up my PlayStation, and PUBG will need killing and restarting because it depends on the developers as well. So it's not quite the same. But yeah, from what I've heard, Bethesda used AI for contents of here's a clear divide. I'm confused. Where's it gone? From what I've heard, Bethesda used AI for contents of here's a clear divide between great missions and busy work.
Oh, so they used AI to potentially write out some of the content for the story missions, so you can find out which ones, the ones that have been written out, and then the ones that have been AI driven, because of whether or not it's half decent or not.
Okay, there you go. I've seen it now. There's not. Yeah, okay. I missed that bit next down. I had the ad bit popping up, so I couldn't see that far. So yeah, there isn't. Yeah. Okay. I've 3 hours sleep. I'm tired. Leave me alone. It's fine. Sarah dislikes that. Need to kill Sarah. I don't know if she is, but I've heard a bit about that from your companions and stuff in games. Some deserve deadness. Ultimate Edition upgrade is only £15 at the mo. £15 at the mo. Good way of getting the DLC if you're interested. They can flesh out base building resources, and that could make it a whole new game. 100%. Like, still not the greatest game for a lot of people, but Fallout 76 had massive work on it. I know that was that started from a lower place than this, still nowhere near the extent of Cyberpunk, but there was a lot of issues with NPCs and having your own base building, and then it was only when they got around to the level of adding the Wastelanders update, and then obviously the private server stuff, that Fallout 76 started to get some recognition there. But they still committed to it, and this, air quotes, works for the most part. For the overwhelmingly the most part. So if they're going to put all of their effort into tidying it up and neatening it up, massive. Nice. Yeah. PUBG doesn't do quick resume on Xbox either. Well, there you go.
Neither does Fortnite.
Worst companion in any game ever. Prefer the annoying fan? The annoying fan? Adoring fan? What, you
See,
you've got a fan in the game? I'm confused.
I've got Andrea, I think it is. Andrea Ha.
Andrea haha.
Something like that, yeah. She's following me around at the moment. But I tell you what is annoying. Oh, every time you go through a door or you reload the game and they've got something to say, can I spare a minute with you, please? Or they'll say something along those lines, but it's just constant. It's just constant. And then you have to turn around and have like a 20-minute conversation with them. Oh,
Get T-fuck.
Sends me under a little bit.
Don't have time for that. Tell you what, I don't have time for any more of this conversation because we are fucking over time. So we're going to jump into the next article, quick time, which is here on your screen. George Foster at the Gamer says PlayStation State of Play Nintendo Direct coming within the next month, says Insider. A reliable Game Insider has claimed that Nintendo Direct is likely to happen in February, and that we're going to be getting a State of Play presentation from PlayStation in the next few weeks. After a few weeks of quiet following the Game Awards, it looks like we're finally getting back into the swing of things. My God, I'm going to go beat Milo with a stick. Not only are there numerous big games releasing over the coming weeks, but it looks like we're going to be getting a sneak peek of what's to come for the rest of the year too. As pointed out by Redditor NeonG95, the gaming on the Gaming Leaks and Rumors subreddit, this is according to reliable gaming insider Jeff Grubb, who recently talked about upcoming presentations from gaming publishers and developers on the latest episode of Giant Bomb's podcast. While discussing what Xbox has planned, Grubb noted that he's also expecting a Nintendo Direct in February and a state of play for PlayStation in the coming. Do you know what? You're just repeating the same stuff there, so I'm going to stop. Nice. So we did find. Did you cover it last week on your dollop or the week before that we do have an Xbox Direct, developer Direct coming? It's this week, isn't it? Is it Thursday?
It will be this week now, yeah, because it was 2 weeks from then.
So yeah. So if you missed that, Bibby's dollop at the start of the year. He covered the fact that Xbox will have a developer Direct coming in January 18th. So this Thursday, I think that is, if I can add correct quick maths. Developer Direct, which could be a bit of something and nothing. It could be Xbox just going, oh, look, we've got things and we're working on it. Here's some small stuff that we've done to all these games. So the 100 fixes that Starfield have got coming, which we know about, could just be covered in more detail. But you could also get Hi-Fi Rush Shadow dropped. It's live right now, like we did last year. One of their games of the year dropped without notice for free for everyone. Air quotes free. So we could be getting that this week, followed by, within a few weeks, a Nintendo Direct, followed by a State of Play. So video games, ladies and gentlemen. Good few weeks, babe.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it's going to be a massive few weeks that's going to shape the remainder of the year. However, we're probably getting one of these at least twice a year, if we're lucky, 3 times a year. So it's just buckle in and just enjoy it, because I think this year, 2023, was probably the best year we've ever had in video games in terms of what got released, regardless of whether or not it was AAA or an indie type of game. Like, it was just banger after banger. Every month there'd be 2 or 3 games that like, fucking hell, my backlog needs to be cleared to get into that. You get to March and you go, Jesus Christ, we've just had 9 games. I've still got my backlog from the before that. It gets to August time, you're like, shit, the bed. We've got some game of the year contenders. All the winter, all the holiday games are coming out, and you can't get through to them all. So 2024 has got a lot to live up to in terms of what we got in 2023. But I have every faith that we're going to get there.
Just trying to get the discussion now. It doesn't fit. Okay, we'll pretend it doesn't. Never mind. Yeah, do you know what? Because we confirmed don't have E3 anymore. E3 is dead. Just in case you missed that news last year, we covered it last year. E3 will not be happening, so we'll get Summer White Dude Fest from Jeff Keighley, and we'll get Gamescom Opening Night Live from Jeff Keighley, and there's probably Games Awards from Jeff Keighley as well. So. Is there something in the first quarter from Jeff Keighley? Because that's the only one he's not got anything, right? But I feel like if we're not having an E3, then quarterly updates is where we should be going to. And if we're starting to get PlayStation and Xbox stuff now, then I feel like 6 months is too long for first parties to keep quiet on their stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, a State of Play is not a PSX, is not a PlayStation showcase. It's a completely different thing. And the same thing with an Xbox Developer Direct versus an Xbox showcase as well. So, yeah, levels, scales, there's a lot coming though. So that's the exciting thing. A State of Play and an Inti Direct coming soon over the next few weeks. That's the article from George Foster at The Gamer. But we'll move forward into something that is kind of a change of pace. And do you know what? Kind of very unsurprising. This is written by Chris Scullion at VGC. GameStop is closing its NFT marketplace after 18 months. The closure is due to the, quote, the continuing regulatory uncertainty of crypto. Imagine that. Wait, it seems to be that they're starting to regulate it now, so let's get out of it. God damn. So yeah, GameStop has announced that it will be closing its NFT marketplace. The video game retailer announced in early 2022 that it planned to launch a marketplace for non-fungible tokens, NFTs. This was then launched in July 2022. However, Decrypt reports that the marketplace's website now shows users a message telling them it will be closing down next month. Quote, GameStop has decided to wind down our NFT marketplace due to the continuing regulatory uncertainty of the crypto space, the message reads. Effective as of February 2nd, 2024, customers will no longer be able to buy, sell, or create NFTs. Your NFTs are on the blockchain and will remain accessible and saleable through other platforms. The closure is the latest step in GameStop's attempt to move away from the crypto space, having previously committed to it. The company ended support for its own crypto wallet in November 2023, again citing the regulatory uncertainty of the crypto space as the reason for this. I'm not going to go any further. We'll leave it there. Surprising? Not surprising? Thoughts?
I think we all know that this is highly unsurprising. I don't think our community, I mean, you probably are away from all discussions and stuff, but from what we've obviously covered over the last 2 years in terms of NFTs and how they're going to be used in video games and everyday life when it comes to buying and selling and stuff, I get the feeling that this isn't something that we end up touching, and lo and behold, it looks like the rest of the video game landscape has obviously gone that way as well. It did have a place. It did have a very small place. Like, there was a couple of games that said like you'd be able to carry your stuff over, so the gun that you might be using in a game or a skin might be what you might be able to get hold of it for, I don't know, £10. It might become a rare item that you can then carry over into another game, and then it might be worth £1,000 or stuff like that. Basically along the same lines of what CSGO was doing with their crate openings and what the value of the items will be worth if you was to sell it on. But NFTs in general just haven't hit the ground running at all. The fact that they came out and was priced extremely high and people thought that there was onto a gold mine, and then lo and behold, crypto falls from through its ass because there was a million different cryptocurrencies being put out at the same time. It was not a sustainable business, and it basically it felt like people was collecting Pokemon cards, but Pokemon cards nowadays still have an extreme value, whereas these didn't last a year.
The thing for
video
me,
games, yeah, go on.
Sorry to interrupt. The thing for me is a Pokemon card has an intrinsic value. You think, okay, that first season holo Charizard or whatever is worth $1 million, but you've also got a fucking shiny Charizard, which for you is the coolest Pokemon out there that you want to own as the trainer of choice. This is my Pokemon that I want to, in my head, breed and develop into this big, strong. It's not. It's just a card, but it's the beauty of the image that comes with it inside your mind. And an NFT just doesn't. There's no attachment. It just becomes, but it's worth a chunk of cash. And it's like, but it's a weird mushroom. You've got a non-fungible fungi, which is one that I kept seeing. These little weird mushroom things that walk. Great. I don't eat mushrooms. Why would I want to invest in one? Get the fuck. No, I'm not bothered in that. And then you got these like weird apes and shit. Like you don't even like the way it looks. You didn't get to choose the way it looks. It's not linked to a story about how it's the big fire dragon third evolution. It's just an ape with an earring. You don't have any earrings yourself, so you're clearly not that attached to that. So, and that's it though. There was no real meaning beyond its value, and the value, air quotes, is there because someone tells you it should be. That's actually £50,000. Is that? Is it? Is it? It's a cartoon and it's not moving. I can go and watch SpongeBob for free, and there's loads of cartoons in that one. So,
well, that's it. It's only worth what someone's willing to pay for it, which is, let's be honest, the same as every single thing that you own that you want to potentially be able to sell or someone wants from you. But the fact that there was a million different variants of a particular thing, like you said, the ape, there might be a slight change to the way that either the ape is, whether or not it's got his fag in its mouth, or they might have a top hat or a fez, or it was a buttoned up shirt or something like that. Unless someone actually wants an ape with a fag in its mouth, wearing a fez and an open t-shirt, no one's going to want to buy that. It'd have been made much more sense if there was only 10 variants and it got that popular that people wanted that particular one. Then the money would stay the same. But the fact that there was thousands of them meant that there was kind of worthless from the get-go, unless you owned one originally and you wanted to get in on the fad that someone then had. I imagine millions were shared. I imagine millions of pounds or dollars was spent on attaining some of these for such a small amount of time. But the fact of the matter is there's too many of them and the bubble burst instantly. They needed to...
The regulatory stuff that was a huge part of it. The fact that Jimmy Fallon bought his ape, were they called weird apes or whatever? I'll just say weird.
Something like that,
Jimmy Fallon had a weird ape, and on his show, Paris Hilton came on, and she had a weird ape. So they clearly knew they both had one, so they decided to talk about their weird apes and show their weird ape designs on the show. Which, if you've got Bored Ape, that's it. So if you've got a Bored Ape and the presenter of the shows you're on has a Bored Ape as well, and they're both showing these Bored Apes and how they're worth stupid amounts of money, that's influencing the market for other people to go out and buy Bored Apes as well, therefore pushing the price up of their own stuff. So the only people we're talking about it were the people that were trying to profit off it and idiots that got caught up in it. Like, don't get me wrong, like... Bibby is right. There's value in everything, and that's only there if people see it. But on the flip side, if I go out and I buy a Land Rover, nice, and I see someone goes, "Oh, that's 50 grand." Is that, you can get a Bored Ape for that? But if you want the Land Rover, fair dues. If people don't see that, if I tried to sell my Land Rover for 50 grand and people don't want it, worst case scenario, I can weigh it in and get guaranteed materials back. You can't even weigh in your digital thing because you don't own it. So it's a code somewhere, and you've got a digital receipt that tells you that you own it. Great. So nobody actually wants to buy it anymore. Can I get anything back for it? Literally nothing. If nobody wants to buy it, you can't just weigh it in, cash it in, nothing. Nah.
Like, how are you going to advertise it? Like, this is my ape. Like, people was literally just screenshotting and saying, "Well, I own it now as well."
Yeah.
And like, but you haven't got the digital receipt. It's like,
and
yeah, but if I wanted it, I'd have it. I've got it, and I'm going to use it for whatever else. But they don't necessarily own it. It was such a grey area.
This is my ape on a digital image, and there you go. That's a receipt that I've made, and that is also digital. So there you go.
Yeah. It was such a surreal thing that I genuinely think this is one of the weirdest sellable digital assets that have been in and around either the video game landscape or just in general as a sellable item. I just never thought it was. I mean, this is me personally, but I don't invest in anything. I have no investments, barring obviously my house. I don't have anything that's an actual investment. And looking at that, I don't think most people thought it was that it was a worthwhile investment anyway, regardless of whether or not it was £5, £50, £500, £5,000, or £5 million. It didn't seem normal. I think that's probably the word.
The thing for me was, and we mentioned it before, is there was no point. I know that sounds like a stupidly dismissive thing. What's the point? But genuinely, for me, there was no point, because the most, I say creative, it's not even creative, the most functional use that I've seen of an NFT was that, "Ouch, Charlie," where Charlie bit me. The kids that were in that video are now obviously in the 30s and stuff now. They sold that video as an NFT for either hundreds of thousands or millions of pounds. It was a big chunk of money. So they sold it as an NFT to someone. Someone now owns that video. That's fine. I can see that. You are selling the rights to a digital property, like selling the rights to a song or selling the rights to a movie or something like that. It was a movie in all intents and purposes, just a really short, memey one, viral one. But it was a movie and people had emotional attachment to it. Therefore, it becomes a piece of actual art that people want to buy.
Yeah.
That you are assigning a value to something that people... No, not a value. You are giving people a way to own something that they've already assigned their own emotional value to it, and you have attached a physical value to it. Fair dues, but creating something from the off and telling them this has a digital value. Why does it have a... Because Charlie bit me. I remember that, and my mates, and if I became the guy that owns that, then that's a cool thing to tell my mates. But also, I could sell that to someone else. 500 grand, there you go, $500,000. So, like, fair dues. You're selling a piece of art and setting yourself up forever. Fine, that makes sense. But when people were just going, "Oh yeah, if you want to come to our event, so I'll just buy a ticket from Ticketmaster or something like that, or ATC or whatever." No. You are going to buy a NFT, which will then become your ticket for the thing as well, and you'll get to keep it forever afterwards, and it'll also double up. You're just shoehorning it into ticketing systems that have worked. I mean, arguably they need fixing themselves, but NFT wasn't the way to do it. Shoehorning it into shit where it doesn't work doesn't mean it works all of a sudden. It's not working elsewhere, and that was the problem with it. The thing was, the ironic thing, because talking about NFTs now, is I watched a couple of bits on the weekend. So we watched all of Echo on Disney. All right, Disney Watch, fine. But then we watched the new film on Netflix called Lift, starring... what's he called? The guy that's always with The Rock in films.
Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart, that's it. My brain was saying Jason Hart. It's clearly not Jason Hart. Kevin Hart.
It is Jason Hart.
I have no idea. My brain was like, you can have the word Jason. And you know it's Hart, but I'm only giving you the word Jason. So Kevin Hart. Yeah. A bunch of other famous people. Vincent D'Onofrio, who's Kingpin from Echo and other stuff as well, and Full Metal Jacket and whatever. So big film, Netflix budget stuff. But in true Netflix fashion, they just thought, oh, this will be a cool thing to make a film of. Let's throw a bunch of money in it and make it all right, a solid 6 or 7 out of 10 film that you're not going to hate, but you're probably not going to remember watching, and it's going to be no one's favourite film ever. That's what it was. But that film started talking about, oh, we're going to an art exhibit in Italy, some nice stylish place, and the main thing was people buying the thing that kicked it off was someone buying an NFT, and I'm like, well, you clearly started production on this film 2 years ago, because ain't no one spending 50 million or 20 million or whatever the fuck it was on an NFT these days. And even that film, I thought, this is fresh, and it already feels dated because you're working on outdated principles. So yikes. But yeah, it didn't lean into it too much for too long, but yeah, there you go. Anyway, we'll put a pin in that. GameStop is closing its NFT marketplace 18 months after opening it because it's a scam. Facts. Tito's words, not mine, but also mine. Tell you what's not a scam, though. Mr. Bibb, I hear you're playing a new game on Friday.
I most certainly am, Graham.
Yeah. If you don't know what it is, by the way, I will be playing PUBG this weekend and in the middle of the week, like I usually do. Bibby, obviously, has been playing a little bit of Fortnite, a little bit of Warzone, obviously Fortnite survival mode and stuff, but that gets paused this week. This article, written by Zack, Zwiezen at Kotaku, says, Pokemon with guns, coming to Xbox Game Pass next week. Pal World's dark, violent, and capitalist spin on Pokemon arrives soon via early access. So Pal World, aka the game that looks a lot like Pokemon but with guns, is launching soon in early access as revealed in a new trailer. Oh, and also it will be available on Game Pass day one. If you missed this, by the way, this was announced at Summer Game Fest last year when we did our watch along stuff, our recap, and it was one of the games that we picked out as being nice. So
yeah,
anyway,
super spicy.
Finally, Xbox gets its own Pokemon game. Sort of. The first trailer for Pal World, released in 2021, was a wild and weird surprise that caught the attention of many thanks to its mix of Pokemon-like creatures called Pals and modern firearms. Things only got weirder as we learned more about the game, which lets you hunt, fight, sell, eat, and even exploit the cute and cuddly pals. Quote, build a factory, place a pal in it, and they'll keep working as long as they're fed. Until they're dead, that is. Reads a real sentence found on the game's Steam page. Is Pal World a clever satirical takedown of Pokemon games, or will, for all its edgy marketing, I'm guessing the word it is missing from there, or will it, for all its edgy marketing, end up falling flat? I'm not sure, but I do know one thing. The game is out soon. A new trailer released on January 9th confirms that the controversial survival and crafting game, because yeah, it's got some Minecraft and Fortnite in it too, is launching next week on January 19th in early access on Steam. And more interesting, the folks behind the game also confirmed this violent Pokemon clone is coming to Game Pass on the same day. So it will be available on Xbox Series X, S, Xbox One, and PC. I'm going to stop there for the article, but I will mention, I'm going to hit play in the trailer and I'll mute it. Oh, fucking video play soon. Fuck you, fucking adverts! Loud noises! Okay. I just muted everything. I thought, fuck this shit. Yeah, the video is playing. So obviously the game comes out on Friday, but content will start rolling out from midnight tonight. Some creators will have early access to this game, but I hear you're playing it on Friday, Mr. Bibb.
I most certainly am, Graham. Yeah, I've been excited about this, and it's been on the top of my can't wait to play list since we ended up covering it when it was out, when it was shown at Summer Games Fest. I don't think it's. I'm just watching I'm watching your feedback now on it, because I've just seen another very small combat trailer. But I mean, this shows all the combat in it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I was just going to pop it in the chat for everybody else. But this has been at the top of the list of things to play. I don't think it's any surprise, or I've been talking about Temtem for the last year, because obviously that is what I've been playing instead of Pokemon Violet. this looks like it takes a lot of the formulas of both of those things and then just for some reason throws a load of guns at it as well. But the fact that you've got like base building stuff, it's going to have PvP in there, it's going to have a lot of co-op, it's going to have cross-play, it's going to have the works. And I genuinely can't wait to get hold of this on Friday. Like, I can't wait to show people what our artwork for this game looks like when we come to announce it at some point this week. Like, there's just the excitement levels for this game. Barring Starfield, I don't think there's anything. Oh, and Resident Evil 4 earlier. That was March last year, believe it or not. How fast has that year gone when we ended up streaming that game? So this is third or fourth game that I've been highly anticipating since we saw it at Summer Games Fest, and I genuinely can't wait to get stuck into it. I do hope it's a game that lands on its feet and has all of the elements that have been taken from the likes of Temtem, that have been taken from the likes of Pokemon, that just make this game worth playing for more than just collecting the 100 pals, because I think that's the word for these little animals, pals, which is great for a man being able to say it, because I say that in every other word anyway. All right, pal. Sound pal. But yeah, it's weird looking at the combat system, just shooting these things out the sky and that. So yeah, again, there's a lot that I don't know about the game, which I'm fairly certain we're going to find out in the next couple of days when people obviously have the opportunity to be able to stream this. A selected group of content creators, which unfortunately we're not a part of. But come Friday, not yet. Providing that this ends up landing on its feet, I can see this being the main game for me on this channel anyway going forward. Obviously, with the likes of Fortnite, it's a battle royale. It has a season pass. You can dip in and out at your own leisure. Once you've completed the game pass, there's nothing really to play for. Well, I can see this being the main game. Starfield, I didn't want to stream on this channel because I didn't want that to just be, oh, we're playing 2 or 3 hours this week, we're playing 4 hours next week, and the storyline takes forever to be able to progress, and there might just be a load of wandering about and stuff. But this has the live service treatment that you can literally just showcase certain aspects of it. You know what you're going to be getting into. There might be certain pals that are in certain areas that are in really nice locations that you might only see 4 or 5 times on a playthrough or whatever. That might be a challenging thing, but in terms of what this game has to offer, I can see myself streaming this game for the rest of the year, providing that the content keeps me there for the remainder of the year.
Tito says, "Rip, I see UFC." See that's something that we come back to, and can come back to at any point in time. Anyway, plus you've got Wobbles and Co that can scratch the itch on that. But we definitely will do some more ICUFC stuff. But no, I agree. In terms of Hogwarts Legacy, obviously is a game that I've very, very much enjoyed. I'm 76% of the way into it with 51 or something hours played now. But that would have, like, I do stream a good amount of hours every week. I do probably about 6 hours-ish on a Wednesday, and then maybe the same again on a Saturday. So I'm like 12 hours a week, but that's still 5-ish weeks by the time I've done my intro-y, outro-y bits and so on. So that's 5 weeks of playing it and nothing else to get to that point. And obviously, if we streamed every day, like 6-8 hours a day, then it'd be a different sort of thing. But because we only stream a couple of times a week for gameplay content, it's not really content that we can bring out of the channel. But something like that is something that is staccato, stop-start. We can jump in, jump out again. So yeah, definitely a perfect game for streaming, particularly with our schedules. Nice. Yeah. Wobbles, who is 38 today. He's not 38 today. I'm 38. And look at Wobbles' hair and look at mine. He's not 38. That guy's either 17 and has just found a pair of clippers for the first time, or he's 83 and is confused as what clippers do anymore. He's not 38. Yep. I mean, someone want to clip that and send it to him, by the way. Happy birthday, Wobbles.
Hairline further back than the M1.
I just
love you. Happy birthday, Wobbles.
I dropped in his stream and did exclamation mark 312. He saw it and just looked past it. I was like, well, that's definite Wobbles. Didn't even see it. And then I was thinking, oh wait, does he think I'm 31 too? Or something? I just thought, you know what? I'll give in. I'm not even going to mention it. We'll leave him alone. We'll leave him alone. But yes, Pokemon with Guns comes to Game Pass this week, Friday, Pal World, which, let's be honest, nobody's seen it. It's from a developer that has done nothing as big as this before. It's a copy of another game. It's not, but it obviously that's where we all go to it instantly. We're calling it Pokemon with guns. So something that leans into another game always has a significant danger of being garbage. How many times have you played a game that tries to be something else and it's not something else, it's something trying to be something else? And that's a problem with it. You do get things like Temtem, though, that nail it and do a really, really good job of it. And this could be that, but for free for anyone with an Xbox. So it could be beautiful, beautiful. So yeah, Friday we will be playing this. Potentially some daytime streaming as well on Friday. Woo, spicy meatballs. So yeah, join us for that Friday, twitch.tv/uploads for some Pokemon with guns, Power World. In the meantime, do feel free to do what we're going to be doing, and that is checking out some other people that will be streaming it, as it should be going live tomorrow. Nice.
Nice
little segue as well for you. That is a free game for anyone with an Xbox. And if you don't have an Xbox, we've got a free game for you with our !FF free game Friday, even though it's Monday. Nice.
Yes.
So if you have PC, then Epic Games Store give you a game free every single week. And this is what's free right now, January the 11th to the 18th. So it's either 4 p.m. or 6 p.m. I can't quite remember when. On Thursday, the games are updated. But January the 11th to the 18th, 2024, you can play Sail Forth, a maritime freebie for piratically inclined, this week on the Epic Store. Sail Forth is a charming indie game about building and managing your own fleet of wooden sailing ships. With your custom-built crews and crafts, explore a wide ocean of naval adventure. But you think that's good? Next week, they're giving away Love for free. Whoa, goddamn. Did you pick up Guardians of the Galaxy last week, by the way?
Love.
Oh, did you pick up Guardians last week?
Yeah, I got that. Don't you worry about that.
Yeah. So there you go. Sail Forth is free right now. Remember, if you are buying games from the Epic Games Store, to use code ICU, because every redeem, I don't think it financially helps us, but it just helps towards the algorithm and stuff. Same thing for anyone buying any skins in Fortnite or any Rocket League or any Fall Guys or anything like that. If you're adding anything to Epic owns, do feel free to use the support or creator code to support ICU. Code ICU will basically fund the Lambos. Nice. Yeah. But that's it. Quick recap. Starfield has an update coming this week in beta, which brings over 100 fixes and improvements to the game. GameStop is closing its NFT marketplace after 18 months. Pokemon with Guns is coming on Friday, and we'll be playing that too. I'm pretty sure I had the middle one. Oh, there we go. State of Play. I must have closed that tab. The State of Play, there could be a State of Play and a Nintendo Direct coming within the next month, and we've just told you that you can play Sail Forth for free, even on PC using Epic Games Store. And that's it for us. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. It's been good. We are going to disappear now, though. Please stick around while we drop a raid on one of our friends. We are live on the Twitch front page, so we have a bunch of people watching. We have over 200 people watching the stream right now, which is big numbers. But obviously, 200 people won't go along with the raid because those aren't in our channel. They are watching from the front page. So if you are watching this thinking, do you know what, that's a belter of a show, is that? Then just do what Muay Thai Cull has done and dropped into the channel and dropped a follow because they've liked what they've seen. If you are watching this, make sure you drop a follow. You will get notified whenever we go live again, as long as you've got the notifications on. You don't just have to rely on the front page to find us again, but we will be there for the rest of the month. Anyway, that's all about the rest of the month. Before any of that happens, is there what you want to add, Mr. Bibb?
Yes, again, thank you very much to each and every one of you that have joined us for today's episode of The Scoop. If you want to help shape the remaining shows this week, there's two ways you can do so. First of all, find us on social media. It is at Ice Cream Uploads across all major social media platforms, or alternatively, get involved with our Discord. If you're watching this in any of our on-demand services, go into the description below. All the links that you require will be listed there. What we need from you is a URL plus your thoughts and impressions. We will then give you our thoughts and impressions on the very next show, which will be at what time tomorrow? Mr. Graham Day.
No idea, mate. Probably not tomorrow. Because either I'm going to be in the office, but it's appraisal time at Ice Cream Uploads, so basically meetings all day. So yeah, probably no scoopage tomorrow, but yeah, Wednesday's looking likely, mate. And if that's the case, then to answer your question,
10 a.m.
ish.
Yeah,
but yeah, stick around. We're going to drop a raid now. Wobbles, the birthday boy, is on, so that seems like the ideal place for us to go. Nice. So yeah, have yourselves a beautiful evening, whatever you're doing, and until next time, stay frosty.